Hello, Los Angeles Dodgers fans. We've got fresh, exclusive videos and the latest updates just for you. Before we dive in, make sure to join our channel and hit that like button. This is the best way to stay on top of all the breaking news. In a move that caught many fans and teammates off guard, the Los Angeles Dodgers have designated catcher Austin Barnes for assignment, marking the end of an era for the longest-tenured position player on their roster. Barnes, a familiar and trusted presence behind the plate since 2015, had become something of an institutio. But baseball waits for no one, and with the emerge active rosters, the move might make sense on paper. But for those who have followed Barnes' journey from Miami Marlins acquisition to a World Series champion with LA, it hits a little harder than your average roster shakeup. When Barnes was first traded to the Dodgers, few could have predicted how significant a role he'd eventually play. Though never the everyday starter, he was a constant presence, the kind of guy you didn't notice until he wasn't there. After making his major league debut in 2015 and appearing in 21 games the following season, Barnes slowly carved out his niche. He wasn't just a backup catcher. He was a crucial part of the team's culture. He learned to coexist with more high-profile players like Yasmani Grandal and Will Smith, never complaining about playing time, always ready when called upon. Over the years, he built strong relationships across the roster, none more visible than his tight bond with future Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw. For many, Barnes was more than just a player. He was a bridge between generations of Dodgers teams. Now, as the 2025 season progresses, the Dodgers are looking ahead. Dalton Rushing, the highly regarded prospect who's been raking in AAA Oklahoma City, is ready for the big leagues. His promotion forced the Dodgers into a tough spot, and unfortunately for Barnes, he became the odd man out. Fabian Ardaya of The Athletic was first to report the news, confirming what many had suspected was looming but hoped would be delayed. Rushing brings youth, power, and excitement, traits the Dodgers are clearly prioritizing as they aim to stay ahead in an ultra-competitive National League. Still, while fans are eager to see what the future holds with Rushing behind the plate, it's impossible to overlook what's being lost in the transition. Barnes wasn't just a safety valve when injuries struck or a pitcher's favorite target during tense postseason innings. He was a veteran presence, a calming influence, and a player who understood what it meant to wear Dodger blue. His ability to manage a pitching staff, call a game, and serve as a mentor behind the scenes often went unnoticed by the casual observer. Inside the clubhouse, however, his value went far beyond stats. His connection with Clayton Kershaw is particularly notable. The two formed a battery countless times, and their friendship extended beyond the diamond. Kershaw, set to return from the 60-day IL this Saturday for his 18th season with the team, will undoubtedly feel Barnes' absence. It's moments like these that remind us baseball is more than just a business. It's deeply personal. Statistically, Barnes had been on the decline in recent seasons. After years of dependable, if unspectacular production, his offensive numbers dipped significantly. Last season offered a glimmer of resurgence, but it wasn't enough to silence doubts. Through 13 games this year, Barnes was hitting just .214 with a .233 on-base percentage and .286 slugging. He'd managed only 3 doubles and 2 RBIs, and his usually strong defensive metrics were also beginning to falter, particularly in controlling the running game. For a team with World Series aspirations, those are weaknesses that simply can't be overlooked. The Dodgers are known for being ruthlessly efficient in maintaining their competitive edge, and this move, as difficult as it may be emotionally, is a reflection of that philosophy. The timing of this decision is particularly interesting considering Barnes' contract status. Back in July 2022, the Dodgers signed him to a 2-year, $7 million extension, including a team option for 2025. The organization exercised that option, indicating at the time that they still valued what he brought to the team. And Barnes, ever the consummate pro, expressed nothing but loyalty and optimism. It's a great organization, obviously, and I've been part of some special teams, he said when the extension was announced. That's the kind of team I want to be part of. Those words now carry a bittersweet weight, as his dream of continuing with the only team he's really known at the MLB level comes to an abrupt pause. The question now becomes, What's next for Austin Barnes? Being designated for assignment doesn't necessarily mean the end of the line. The Dodgers have 7 days to trade him, release him, or outright him to the minors if he clears waivers. Given his experience, leadership, and defensive skills, there's a good chance another team might take a chance on him, especially one with young pitchers in need of guidance. Barnes could offer real value in a backup role elsewhere, or potentially even transition into a coaching or mentoring capacity. It's also not out of the realm of possibility that he finds his way back to the Dodgers organization in some off-field role down the road. After all, this franchise has a history of honoring its clubhouse leaders. For now, though, fans will have to come to terms with a Dodgers roster that no longer includes one of its quiet cornerstones. In a sport where loyalty and sentiment are often sacrificed at the altar of performance and potential, Austin Barnes' departure is a sobering reminder of how quickly things can change. It's not the blockbuster trade or splashy free agent signing that typically dominates headlines. But for those who've watched this team closely over the years, this move is deeply significant. It's the kind of story that resonates not because of stats or accolades, but because of what Barnes represented: stability, humility, and heart. As for Dalton Rushing, the spotlight is now firmly on him. The 23-year-old has big shoes to fill, not just in terms of production, but in presence. The Dodgers are hoping he could be the next long-term catcher to guide this team into a new era. He brings a lot to the table: offensive power, youth, and a strong arm. But it remains to be seen whether he can shoulder the weight of expectations in a city that demands excellence. For fans, it will be exciting to watch his development, but also a bit bittersweet, knowing that his arrival meant the departure of someone who gave everything to the team. In the end, the Dodgers' decision to DFA Austin Barnes is both a baseball move and an emotional moment. It reflects the harsh realities of professional sports, where even the most beloved veterans are sometimes pushed aside for the sake of progress. But if there's one thing we know about Barnes, it's that he'll handle this with the same class and professionalism he's shown throughout his career. Whether he lands with another team or begins a new chapter in a different role, one thing is clear: his contributions to the Dodgers will not be forgotten. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. The baseball world is buzzing with one of the most electrifying rumors of the season: the Los Angeles Dodgers, already one of the most stacked teams in Major League Baseball, are reportedly deep in talks with the Miami Marlins for a blockbuster trade. And the centerpiece of this jaw-dropping deal? None other than the 2022 NL Cy Young Award winner, Sandy Alcantara. If this rumor holds any truth, it could reshape the National League entirely and push the Dodgers into an even more dominant position heading toward the postseason. The Dodgers aren't strangers to big moves. We've seen them do it before. But this feels different. This feels seismic. We're not just talking about a key rotation piece. We're talking innings, had a 2.28 ERA, and led the league in complete games. In an era where pitchers rarely go past the sixth, Alcantara was a throwback, a horse, a machine. And though 2023 wasn't quite on the same historic level, make no mistake, the talent is still there. He's battled injuries recently, but he remains one of the most feared arms in the National League when healthy. For the Dodgers, who've struggled with pitching depth and consistency due to injuries and underperformance, acquiring Alcantara wouldn't just patch a hole. It would supercharge the entire rotation. Imagine pairing him with Tyler Glasnow and Walker Buehler. That's a playoff trio no one wants to face. What makes this rumor even more explosive is how quietly it's been developing. Most insiders didn't even have the Dodgers on the radar for Alcantara until this week. It all started with a few whispers in the Miami press, followed by a vague post from a verified baseball insider on X, formerly Twitter. And now it's exploded into full-blown speculation across sports media. The Dodgers front office is notoriously tight-lipped when it comes to negotiations, which only adds fuel to the fire. The Marlins, meanwhile, are in a weird place. They're not in full rebuild mode, but they also haven't shown a clear path to contention. Trading Alcantara would be a signal, not just to the league, but to their fans, that big changes are on the horizon. Whether that's smart or short-sighted depends on what the return looks like. And speaking of return, you better believe the Dodgers would have to give up a massive haul to make this work. We're talking top prospects, big league ready arms, maybe even a current starter. Think names like Gavin Stone, Dalton Rushing, or even Michael Busch being involved. Some rumors even mention Bobby Miller, which would be huge. The Marlins aren't just going to hand over their ace without getting a future ace or two in return. The Dodgers have the depth to pull this off, but the price will be steep. And that's the gamble, right? Do you give up multiple future stars for one guy, even if that guy is Sandy Alcantara? If it leads to a championship in 2025, fans will say it was worth it. But if Alcantara struggles or gets hurt, that's the risk that comes with any blockbuster move. Let's be real. The Dodgers don't operate like most franchises. They have the budget, the analytics team, the scouting, and the player development to take big swings and keep the machine rolling. We've seen it with Mookie Betts. We've seen it with Freddie Freeman. Shohei Ohtani was the biggest fish of them all, and they landed him. Now imagine adding Alcantara to that mix. A team already overflowing with MVPs, Gold Glovers, and All-Stars suddenly becomes even scarier. It wouldn't just be about dominating the regular season. It would be about October. The Dodgers are haunted by playoff exits that didn't match the regular season dominance. Alcantara could be the X factor that finally changes that narrative, the guy you throw in Game 1 and say, good luck hitting him. But this trade rumor isn't just about Los Angeles. It also speaks volumes about the Marlins' current identity crisis. Just last year, they were celebrating a surprising postseason run, full of scrappy wins and emerging talent. Now, they're reportedly entertaining the idea of trading away their franchise pitcher. It suggests either one of two things. They've lost faith in the current core, or they see a long-term rebuild as their best path forward. And if that's the case, then moving Alcantara while his value is still sky-high could be a calculated, if painful, decision. It wouldn't be the first time Miami shipped off an all-star. But it would hit harder because Alcantara isn't just a player. He's a culture setter, a tone setter, and a fan favorite. Still, the question remains, is this deal close? Is it real? Some sources say talks are heating up and names are being exchanged. Others caution that it's still in the exploratory stage. With the trade deadline still a few months away, both teams have time to feel things out. But if this rumor is already leaking, that usually means there's some fire behind the smoke. It's rare for a name like Alcantara to surface publicly unless the conversation is real. And with the Dodgers always on the hunt for elite talent, and the Marlins potentially looking to reshape their future, the stars may be aligning for something major. Fans should keep their eyes peeled over the next few weeks. This could escalate fast. One thing's for sure. If the Dodgers do pull this off, it sends a clear message to the rest of the league, especially to the Braves and Phillies. The NL is already a bloodbath, and adding Alcantara would be a chess move to get ahead of the curve. It's not just about star power. It's about versatility, depth, and October strategy. You win playoff games with aces, with shutdown arms, with pitchers who don't blink in high-pressure moments. Alcantara has proven he's that guy, and if the Dodgers land him, they'll have possibly the most complete roster in all of baseball. On paper, at least. Games aren't won on spreadsheets, but this would tilt the odds massively in their favor. The pressure would be on, but the Dodgers aren't afraid of pressure. They thrive on it. And what about the fans? Dodgers Nation would go wild if this deal happens. Alcantara jerseys would fly off the shelves. The buzz around the team would reach new levels, especially with a rotation that would look like something out of a video game. On the Marlins side, it might sting at first. But if the return includes top-tier talent, it could set the stage for the next great Miami team. Sometimes, you have to take a step back to take two forward. And for a team that's struggled with consistency, maybe now is the time to shake things up and commit to a true rebuild. Either way, this deal, if it goes through, will be talked about for years. A potential win-win, but with major risk for both sides. Until we hear official word, it's still just a rumor. But it's the kind of rumor that gets people talking, gets the phones buzzing, and makes sports radio erupt. The Dodgers are always aggressive, and if history tells us anything, when they zero in on a target, they usually get their man. Sandy Alcantara would be more than just a mid-season splash. He'd be a tidal wave. So stay tuned, folks, because if this blockbuster happens, it's going to change everything. Not just for the Dodgers, not just for the Marlins, but for the entire landscape of Major League Baseball. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.